joining us, everyone, today on our Little Italy podcast and also Deborah Cobalt Live. I'm honored to welcome Carlo Siliotto. He is an internationally acclaimed film composer, and we've got a lot to talk to you about. Carlo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, such an honor. Carlo, first I'd like to talk about you when you were a young kid. You were born in Italy, of course, in Rome, and how you got yourself interested in music. I love the story of your birthday gift. Could you tell everybody about that?
So when I was, I think, 8 or 10, that zone, my mother took me to central Italy to a famous festival called Festival dei Due Mondi in Spoleto, Umbria, and to attend a performance of the Black Nativity performed by the Voices of East Harlem. I had never seen at that time a black man or woman in my life in Italy. You know, we arrived to this Baroque theater and the performance was so great that it ended up with all audience on top of their seats clapping their hands against the music. The tenor, I recall, was a big guy and he was blind. He wearing a white robe and was marvelous. And the whole performance was something really, I was flashed on the way to Damascus. So on our way back to Italy, to Rome, my mother asked me, what you want for your birthday, the guitar or the bike? I say, the guitar, no question. So, so my first unction by the music, my first calling has been a gospel. Yes.
Oh, how beautiful. And then where did you study? Because, you know, your entire journey to who you are now, you've done hundreds of films and projects and documentaries, you've done television, but, you know, how did it all begin? So then you studied also, right? Tell us about that.
I started with the guitar, and also my first teacher actually was blind. And he recommended my mother to take me to some eye working teacher because he needed to check my hands and he couldn't, you know. So my second teacher was a great composer and folk singer in Italy, Giovanna Marini. Then later on I studied composition at the Conservatorio of Frosinone, 70 kilometers of Rome, because I wanted to study with this specific teacher, Daniele Paris, who was way ahead the times, and he was the first one to bring to Italy composers like Edgar Varese and the entire contemporary music scene, world contemporary music scene, and was a great teacher, has been a great teacher.
You say that your first entree into music was gospel, but you actually blend so many different styles, right? Because you also had a band back in the day. Can you tell us a little bit about that band?
Yeah. The band was a band that initially was just coming from a research of folk music in the central Italy. You know, there is you're probably familiar with the name of Alan Lomax. Alan Lomax was a searcher of traditional music in the US, and he's the one who discovered Woody Guthrie, Sonny Terry, Brownie McGee, you name it, all that series of great folk musicians in America. He befriended with a guy in Italy, Diego Carpitella, and they started the first research in Sicily, actually, producing several albums of traditional Sicilian music. So we entered this group of people and we started doing the same in the central Italy. But after that, we developed something which was kind of a rock pop jazzy music based on the roots of our Southern folk music. So it was a new wave of music, but based on our traditional folk music. And so with this band, we produced several albums, and we had the chance to tour the entire East Africa, Somalia, Tanzania, Mozambique, Zambia, Kenya, and later on Nigeria, and we had the chance to befriend with with the African music. And I remember I asked it to the organizer actually was an official trip we were part of, and to find a twin band in each country for us to learn African music as they would listen to the Italian traditional music, and so has been an incredible experience.
How many instruments do you play, Carlo?
I've been playing on stage guitar and violin, and also some flugelhorns. But basically, I'm using today the piano for when I compose. I'm sitting on the piano, and that's it basically. But I can write, of course, for the entire orchestra. This is my training. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
So, go ahead.
I don't play so much, but I always missing this feeling to play live with a band in front of people, you know, because this is unreplaceable. So what you get from the audience while you're playing on stage is something that my audience is the orchestra, or when I conduct the orchestra is my first audience, you know, is the only my live audience actually. Generally, but and sometimes when we held concerts and stuff, but I really miss the band. You know, we're still friends after 40 years, and so we're still old friends. We still hang out together. We still take care of the new recordings, the new production of our music, etc.
So, how do you go from being in a band, performing on stage, to a world-class composer? I mean, how did you make that transition? What happened?
So it's simple. So when my son Rocco was born back in 1981, I always wanted to become a composer for movies, because I always loved movies as much as I love music, right? So I would go to see Fellini's movies in order for me to listen to Nino Rota's music, or Hitchcock to see to hear Bernard Herrmann, or Sergio Leone to hear Ennio Morricone, all this stuff, right? But when my son was born, I said, this is the last opportunity I have to make a choice. So I need to become, and I have to feed this guy. So I want to feed him by being a movie composer, right? So I gave myself 3 years, and I said, I was producing, I was performing, I was writing, I was doing everything but composing for movies. So I gave myself 3 years, and I said myself, you will decline everything else. If you can make it within 3 years, good. If not, you go back, because you have to feed this guy. And so thank God I focused on it. And 1.5 years later, I found my first opportunity. Almost by coincidence, but the focus was there, the intents were there, you know, and so it happened. And I'm still here knocking on wood, you know.
What was that first opportunity, Carlo?
First opportunity was 4 episodes TV movie performed by a very, very Italian famous actor, Michele Placido, and was a very, very lucky opportunity, because I always been interested in the Eastern European music, Balkanic music, you know, and stuff like that. And the director, Paolo Poeti, who gave me the first opportunity, he was looking for something different from Baroque music, from Vivaldi music. because the movie was entirely shot in Venice,
Mm.
Italy. So he needed something, but he didn't know exactly. And I gave him the opportunity to listen to some stuff I was composing in that very moment, which was very, very Balkanic, very Eastern European, very, and he loved it. He embraced the idea, and was my first opportunity. I'm still here. The second, but then movies came, and I'm always been more interested in movies in the big screen, but I learned a lot by scoring TV, because it's more difficult to score TV.
I'm going to ask you about that in a moment. But tell us, what is the process? Because I don't know, right? What is the process to scoring a film, to scoring a TV show, TV series, rather, documentary? What do you do? Do you watch the finished product first and then you score? And how do you do it? Do you listen? Do you close your eyes? Tell us that process.
The process is that you have to be taken by something in the movie. So while at the very beginning, since I was a newcomer, I would go to the set to see images there. I would go to the editing room, to the editorial, to see first assembly of images. It was wrong, completely wrong, because you have to get the movie entirely in one shot, and give back your feelings to the movie, so you have to be touched by the movie. You keep watching until a sequence comes and the first three notes come up, and you take note of these three notes, and they will be the right ones. They will be the right ones. Ennio Morricone, who one day told us how to at this time, there were no VHS, no DVDs, no computers, okay, when he started.
Right.
Okay, so his first vision of a movie would happen in a dark theater, in a screening room, a dark screening room. So how to take note of these three notes in the darkness, And he taught us how to do it in the darkness, meaning that Ennio also believed that the very first pattern of notes that pop up, are the true ones. So when I began, I wrote the first team, and I was thinking, okay, but is it possible I already have the team? Let me work around here. And I would spend a week looking for something else, and always I went back to the first three notes, and those.
Wow.
Yeah. This is something you don't know where it's coming from. It's a gift, Though truly is a gift. I don't want to appear self-indulgent by saying it's a gift. I'm very grateful for the gift, because I've built my life on it, So I built my life on this gift. And so is, but it's truly true that they come from somewhere, these three notes. And the first inspiration for something comes from somewhere else, and you can call it, and you can give many different names to it, but it's a gift. The only thing, it's like faith. Faith is a gift, isn't it? So I'm jealous. I'm really of those who really are believers, who really have faith, who really truly believe in the afterlife, in the existence of some entity out there, Or I am a believer on my way, but those who are truly believers, those ones who really measure their own life on the faith. Isn't faith a gift? It's something that comes to you. You cannot explain faith. You cannot explain music. I don't know where it comes from, actually.
And you have to listen to what's happening, right? What's coming through you. For you, it's music. For others, you say it's faith. For some, it's being an artist right? A painter,
Absolutely, absolutely,
one who can draw, one who can write, and you have
absolutely.
to listen to that in your head. If you're
Yes,
born with that gift,
yeah,
music to me is quite fascinating because I don't have that gift, and I've often heard Paul McCartney, I just adore him as well,
yeah.
would say that music notes will come to him at night, and he doesn't know where it comes from either, but it just appears. It's just the gift you're born with, Carlo. And thank goodness you were, because you've graced us with some beautiful, beautiful, wonderful melodies that are so unique. We're just quite grateful to you for that.
Yeah.
Talk, talk to us about some of the legendary directors that you have worked with in Italy, for example, and then let's talk about how you made your way to America with your work. Would you?
So I've been working with really big mm, great directors in Italy. I've been very fortunate, but especially when I started with mainly TV series or short series or TV movies and stuff, I worked with the best of the directors of my time. And then I had the opportunity to work with the best of the directors I wish to work with, you know, so like Ricky Tognazzi, Maurizio Nichetti, and many others Carlo Lizzani, people I really loved before working with them, people I knew their work before then getting to meet them. And so I've been very, very fortunate indeed till Carlo Carlei, who did this fantastic movie called Flight of the Innocent. The Flight of the Innocent was the very last production of Franco Cristaldi. Franco Cristaldi was a great, legendary producer in Italy. He is the producer of Cinema Paradiso, just to mention one movie
Right.
very known in America. Franco Cristaldi unfortunately died while we were dubbing the movie, mixing the music with
Mm.
in the studio at the very end of the process, of our process, of Flight of the Innocent. So this movie has been badly distributed. Critics were on a different page in that moment. So this movie wasn't fortunate at all in Italy. Instead, Carlo came here because he had a project to produce in America with MGM, and everyone adored Flight of the Innocent. I
Yes.
remember I came over here during the holidays parties, during the awarding season, holiday parties, etc. And I would go to a party and someone, what you doing here? I scored this Italian movie, you know, what's it called? Flight of the Innocent. And they would hug me and
Mm.
thank you for that movie. It's amazing. It's something. And this movie was my first step in here, you know. And then Carlo, thank him, he produced Fluke for
Right.
MGM, he wanted me and the DP of Flight of the Innocent, Raffaele Mertes, to accompany him in this journey, in this American journey. So we came and we had our first American opportunity. Yes. And then little by little, I spent kind of 10 years making back and forth with Europe, co-productions, you know, Italian and American co-production. And I loved more and more California and the lifestyle here in California. So little by little, I moved here.
And I know that you live by the ocean because you and I are trying to find the time to go for a walk. We both enjoy walking and we both just love boats and the
Absolutely.
ocean. We will make sure that happens. But tell me how you're inspired here, the way you were and are in Italy, because many people I speak with who live here in California say so much of it reminds them of where they're from in Italy. Are you equally as inspired here as you are there with your
I,
work?
I think so. There is no difference, you know.
Mm.
The differences are in the production process, but
Ah,
sometimes in the difference of budgets or stuff. I mean,
mm,
average, but it depends on everything. Depends on your relationship with the director. That's it.
right.
But that's why I love better to score features than TV, because nowadays in TV you have, especially in America, you have these showrunners and stuff like that, But in movies you always have the director, and the director is the one who had the vision, is the one who started from something really pure, and he foresaw something, or ahead, and he followed his own inspiration. So it's very easy to work with directors if they are really already inspired.
Mm,
Inspired meaning is not just something big of spiritual, no, also a comedy, also an action movie too. So if you envision something that you really want to put on a screen, that you really feel the need, the urge to tell people about, oh, this is so nurturing us, the composer. So, and we when this is my case, but my colleagues, I think, are in the same page. But when you start approaching a movie, you become like a sponge, and every single input coming from the editing, coming from the editorial, from the editor, from the workers, from the music editor, from the director, from the producer, everything is like a new friend, suggesting you and giving you tips for doing better, and so it's not, I mean, what appears to some as a limit, because you have to score a movie, so you have to deal with timing, with sequences, with characters, so you are not a pure composer in that moment. It's not true. You are more than a pure composer, because you have the effort and the contribution of many others who are equally important in the process of a movie, and so you can do even better in a way,
You also are going to Italy, I think, this week. You're spending quite a few months there. You're giving a master class. Tell us what else you are involved with in addition to the composing.
In addition with the composing, very involved with the Academy of Motion Picture Art and Sciences. I'm a very proud member of it, and it's been truly an honor when I was asked to be part of it. And so I opt in for many different things during the year, like the Student Academy Award or the International Movie Committee. I'm part of the executive committee of the branch of music, so we have to consider.
Oh,
So I dedicate some time to the academy, and also I like to help newcomers, to the young
mm.
composers, and to give them tips, because it is how I started actually. And
What tips do you give them though? It must be very difficult because you hear the music, right? So what tips can you give to a young composer?
the young composers, the tips I go firstly is to look for young directors of their own age, range of
Ah,
age. So like go, Craigslist, and you'll find hundreds of film students who are looking for a composer to pay peanuts, uh,
I get it.
or not to pay at all. Keep everything, because this young director, as you are, now is producing a short movie, but in 5 years is probably producing a big one and is going to be an Academy Award winner. And the second recommendation I give them is always to subscribe to the membership of the SCL, Society of Composers and Lyricists, because the SCL has been my biggest welcome when I first decided to work here, you know. And there is a group of composers and lyricists, and they actually, and we have many events like screenings with Q&As with the composer, so that it gives to newcomers the idea of the market, of how it works, you know, and you have the opportunity to hang out with many of your own age and more experienced composers. So is a way in, you know. So this what then I can tell only about my process and
Yeah.
how fortunate I am, you know, by having had such great maestros and my teachers in my life, etc. But and many things. The main direction I give them is to keep finding their own voice, not to follow trends and stuff. Trends last one season, but your
Right.
own voice will last forever, you know. And so keep doing this, you know. And this is crucial, important. I have been very fortunate, very lucky in my life, because it's what my teacher, my composition teacher, taught me, you know, and very generously taught me. Yeah.
We call you, of course, an award-winning composer. Would you share with us one of the awards in particular that meant so much to me when you received one?
Actually, I can mention one award in particular, one nomination in particular.
Please.
I think probably when I was nominated for the Golden Globes, it was something very important to me, because
Big.
it was about a Kazakh movie. So going back to find your own voice, you know. Oh, this was a movie in which I could really express myself entirely, because when I was first hired here in this city for that movie, I asked the production to send me over to Kazakhstan for me to learn about the traditional music of Kazakhstan,
Oh,
Central Asia, because the movie was about that, was about the founding, the birth of a nation, Kazakhstan, back in 1710. So, and I wanted to learn about those instruments to include them in my soundtrack, you know, and give a voice. So when I put together this whole process, and the movie was recorded in, actually the music for a movie was recorded in 3 different continents, because here was Europe and Asia. So when I got the nomination, which is very rare, to be very unusual to have a nomination for a foreign movie, as Nomad, the name of the movie is Nomad. In American is Nomad the Warrior, Kachevnik in Russian.
right.
And it doesn't happen so much, but but this soundtrack was so visible because it was very unique. This combination of Kazakh instruments with a symphony orchestra, with electronics and stuff. So when I received that nomination, I really felt like I was recognized, fully
Mm,
recognized for what I could offer, you know. Yeah.
beautiful. Tell our audience some parting words that you would like them to know about you and what you're working on next.
Now I'm working on my own project, actually,
Mm.
which is an opera. Is
Oh,
an opera based on a true story, and the true story is the story of 2 women back in 1895 in New York. The name of the women were Maria Barbella, an Italian immigrant, and Cora Slocum, an American woman. Maria Barbella was sentenced to be electrocuted, being accused of killing her lover. Her lover was instead a pimp who took advantage of this poor 18 years old illiterate immigrant, Italian immigrant. The first trials were led by prejudice and biases against women, Italians, and immigrants, the three all together. So you can imagine. Cora Slocum, an American woman married to an Italian count, she read something on the New York Times and she understood what's going on. She saw Maria and she thought that she couldn't be guilty of anything. So she put together a group of lawyers and investigators and stuff, and she traveled to Ferrandina, southern Italy, to find something that could help her, or in helping Maria. And actually, she was able to rescue Maria. And the story has been written by Danna Pucci, who is a writer, a documentarist, you name it. And we befriended. We became close friends, and actually Danna went to Ferrandina, Italy, where the Maria's family was originally from, and where Maria went back after these horrible happenings in New York, and she procreated. And so Idanna, a descendant of the woman who saved the life of Maria Barbella, met with the descendants of Maria Barbella. Ferrandina. This has been a very, very incredible moment, and now I'm midway, and I'm writing this. I've been very fortunate during the COVID during the lockdown, because I was scoring a Mexican movie called Cuando Sea Joven, which is a beautiful movie to come now shortly in America. And then I was scoring this other Kazakh thing with directed by Igor Lopatnak, but starring Oliver Stone interviewing the first president of Kazakhstan. So it's a series of documentaries and a documentary feature. So for what I went back to Kazakhstan, I record the music with the Astana Opera Theater Orchestra. Well, it's been another incredible experience. But while I was waiting for the final cut of the Mexican movie, I decided to start finally with the opera, with this idea I always had in my mind. So I had the time and the comfort. So I wrote the first romanza, let's say. It is not in chronological order at all, but I started with this romanza and I liked it. So I said, maybe I should go. I should keep going. And now I'm midway, kind of midway. Yeah.
I look forward to one day seeing that, perhaps here at the LA Opera. Wouldn't that be stunning? How beautiful would that be? Wherever we see the opera, I look forward to this happening. I really do. Gosh, it's been so wonderful to talk to you, Carlo. You are a delight. You're a gift to us because of the way you think and what moves you inside. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I really do. So thank you.
Thank you. You're killing me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're killing me. I just really appreciate someone who looks at life and looks at experiences the way you do, through music and through story. So thank you so much, Carlo Siliotto. Enjoy your time in Italy. I know you've got lots of work and family to see, and maybe we'll catch up there. If not, we'll see you here by the beach in sunny Los Angeles. So thank you so much.
Thank
you. Everyone, you can see and hear our full interview with Carlo on our Little Italy podcast, and also Deborah Cobelt Live. So please tune in and see both, and look up what Carlo is doing on his social media too. And we thank you all for joining us. We thank Carlo. And until next time, bye-bye.